Yes, mic is on. Cool. Fight or flight, which would your body have you choose? Hi, I'm Ellie. I am a mom of 2 with a third on the way. This video is going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly of survival mode, which is what I have been living in for the last, who knows how long, but at least the last like 4 months, which is why I've been gone so long. So here are some things that I noticed that made me want to make a change. And this video will hopefully help you guys do the same. All right, the easiest one to pinpoint is the immediate exhaustion and mostly random exhaustion. It doesn't matter how much sleep you get, you're still tired. For me, another thing I noticed was I was losing my temper at the most minuscule things. And I thought it was pregnancy rage, but I actually think that it has a little bit more to do with survival mode than pregnancy rage. Not to say that pregnancy rage doesn't exist, because it does. And I'm pretty sure I do have it, but I think that it was exacerbated by survival mode. I hated that I was not getting anything done the vast majority of the time. I was choosing to be scrolling on my phone or watching stuff on the TV or, whatever, just anything to turn my mind off and disconnect, even from my kids. And it was not pretty. I had this massive dread that I would feel every time I knew I had to take my kids out of the house, because I was always wondering what kind of stuff I was going to have to be dealing with. So I didn't know if I was going to have to be dealing with tantrums or with, whatever it was. Another thing I noticed was I had this fear of disappointment, but yet I was constantly disappointed in myself, what I was or was not doing. Basically, it was self-sabotage. I did like, though, how I felt when I managed to get some tasks done. It didn't matter how big or how small. I was so glad to get some of that stuff done. I think the biggest thing, though, was that I did not like the habits that we had slipped into while I was in survival mode, because it was easier, but in reality, it just made everything harder in the long run. And like the massive, insane amount of screen time that my kids were getting because I wanted the screen time for myself. So they were on the TV watching something and I was on my phone watching something, and it was nuts. So what exactly is survival mode? It is the fight, flight, or freeze instinct that is supposed to help you survive. That is literally why it's called survival mode. The problem is, we as moms and as humans sometimes tend to live in that survival mode, and our nervous system becomes shot at that point. It's really just our bodies being in overdrive, trying to keep us protected from real or not so real danger. It's supposed to protect from physical dangers, but survival mode also protects from emotional dangers and mental dangers as well, some of the time. So it tries to protect from burnout and all of that stuff. But sometimes it just makes it worse because you're trying to survive day to day. So when we're constantly in fight or flight, our body doesn't understand how to calm down, and it can affect our sleep. It can affect our minds and bodies because we are constantly irritable and anxious, and there's no rest or downtime, even when we're trying to sleep, which is not good. That's why we're so tired all the time when we're in survival mode. Something else that can happen in survival mode is you expect the worst and you live life in fear. You're always thinking of the worst case scenario. Like how I mentioned, I was always worried about what I was going to have to deal with when I took my kids out of the house. The embarrassment, the, whatever of kids just being kids. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. Like neither one of them, neither she's are able to regulate themselves. And when I can't regulate myself, they're never going to learn how to regulate themselves. So I knew I needed to make a change. When I was doing research for this a couple days ago, talking about the expecting the worst and living in fear, I was watching, I might put a picture of it, we'll see, by Kirsty Doing Things. And she mentions trying to think of the best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario in these types of situations. And that just made me think, like, it's all about that self-sabotage again, and it's all about how kids really feed off of the energy that you're giving out. So if I'm giving out stress and anxiety and what's going to happen, they're going to react to that and act out in whatever way they see fit to be able to deal with it on their own, because I'm not helping them deal with their problems, because I'm not helping myself deal with my own problems. I know this is going to be a lot of roundabout stuff, it seems like. I'm going to try really hard hard to make things a little bit easier to understand and a little bit easier to focus on. So, oh my gosh, my nose is running. Why is my nose running? Can you think of something in your life that might be causing you stress or to be in a constant state of stress and anxiety? We have to be able to find the root of what's going on. So like in my case, I was noticing that my screen time was a huge problem, and it was putting me in this constant state of stress and anxiety and fight or flight, because I was trying to figure out how in the world I'm supposed to parent when I can't even get out of bed in the morning. I can't even, do whatever. And it's not because of depression or because I was sick. It was literally because I was dreading what was going to happen in the day. If it's not too personal, go ahead and leave it in the comments what your root is for what is causing your survival mode, your fight or flight. It could be a person, it could be a job, it could be an aspect of your job. For me, it was, like I mentioned, screen time, but specifically the media that I was consuming and partaking in. The particular videos that I was watching, the court cases I was following, the, whatever, different things that I was spending my time in constantly every waking hour, that was what was causing a lot of my stress and anxiety. So we're going to be working on screen time again very soon. All right, so what exactly can we do to help these situations? Because I do not want to be in this situation ever again. I do not want to, at least not for long periods of time. I will say this over and over again. Being in survival mode does not mean you're a failure. It just means that something needs to change. Being in survival mode does not mean that anything is wrong with you. It's just your body trying to survive, and you need to find ways to help it survive better. And usually that means helping your mind and nervous system relax. So what can we do to help? The biggest thing is breathing and muscle relaxation exercises. Those are the easiest and most immediate thing to do. So when you're stressing and you realize you're stressing, I guess the biggest thing is realizing there's an issue. But when you realize that there's a situation going on, different breathing techniques can help you ground yourself, make it so that you are no longer in that situation. I kind of mentioned this already. Recognize your needs. It's okay to ask for help. And in fact, you should ask for help if you need it. For instance, during this pregnancy, I had a migraine. I woke up with a migraine one morning and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I can't believe I'm having this migraine. I can't believe it is this part, this day, really, come on. And I remembered a friend that I had who, before I even got out of bed, I texted her. I was like, hey, I need you to come watch my kids. She's got 2 kids of her own as well. I explained, I was like, I've got a migraine. I woke up with a migraine. I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope it turns out okay. And I just need you to watch the kids. And I was just thinking hey, she'll bring her kids over. The kids will play in the living room. I'll just be if I'm needed, I can be in and out and whatever. And she's like, if you have a migraine, do you want me to just take them back to my house? I was like, hallelujah. It's hallelujah. Yes, please, please take my kids for the morning. I can have them back by lunch. I'll figure out what to do after that. But at this point, this day, I couldn't ask my husband to come home, which sometimes I have in the past, or ask him for some support in some way. That's a time that I probably would have put on the TV as well, but I would have felt like I would have had to have been out there. And then this particular migraine was light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, and things like that. So I was like, ugh. So make sure you ask for help. I hate doing dishes. I should probably ask for more help with that. There are people that have offered to do my dishes. I just feel bad making people clean up my messes. So it's okay to ask for help. And maybe you have other needs. Maybe you are needing to find time for yourself that is more relaxing. So journaling, or maybe you need to find time to exercise a little bit or something, which, by the way, the next one I've got is light exercise. Keyword, light, for whatever it is for you. So since I don't exercise very much, light exercise for me might be stretching and yoga or something of that nature. Other people, it might be, well, in other points in my life even, it has been running on a track or running on a treadmill. But whatever is light exercise for you, that can help ground you. It can help release that fight or flight, the wind up that happens when your body is trying to figure things out. And then also you need to prioritize sleep, which I'm not going to go over them here, but there are different people who have talked about how to get better sleep, some sleep techniques and things like that. Sometimes the muscle relaxation techniques that I talked about a little bit earlier, I didn't really talk a lot about them, but I mentioned them. Sometimes those help you get better sleep, again, because you're grounding yourself, you're relaxing your body, you're allowing your brain to stop and slow down at least. You're allowing your nervous system to chill a little bit. Oh, and that's so funny. That's so funny. The next thing on my list is actually ask for help separately. So in recognizing your needs, you should ask for help, and also staying connected with other people. So it's okay to crave the adult conversations. It's okay to want to have adult connection besides your spouse. Having friends and spending time with them is always a good idea. And sometimes that makes it so much easier to ask for help as well. If you have a little circle of friends and things, you can trade favors, you can trade kids, you can, do these different things that will help all of y'all's survival mode. The last thing that can help is using mindfulness techniques. The point is you don't want to add to your suffering. So one of the points of mindfulness is not tearing yourself down, no self-destruction type of thing. And mindfulness also can include slowing down with meditation or something like that. If meditation's not really your thing, journaling can really be helpful. I mentioned that earlier, having a journaling thing. So that's all I've got for you today. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, a like, and comment so other people can find this video in the algorithm, because the algorithm can be difficult sometimes. Make sure you subscribe if you like honest motherhood and parenting content like this, where we try to find solutions to situations that we might be having. And of course, if you're having some kind of problem, leave it in the comments as well, so that I can maybe do a video about that, because you, I promise, are not the only one dealing with whatever situation it is. And we can figure things out together, even if it might make us look a little unhinged. Remember, none of us are perfect parents, none of us are perfect people, but we can, of course, strive to be the best we can be. So this playlist might be helpful to you if you also found this video helpful, because it is a great place to start in kind of loosening up that nervous system by reducing the mental load and allowing more room for you. So I'll see you there.